Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So we got new cabinets. I'm gonna go over this in a little bit, but I wanted to update you guys on a cool idea that my wife actually thought of over here. Now this isn't permanent, but I just wanted to show you guys. If you remember, the fridge or the freezer that we have, which is right here now, used to be sitting right here on the ground. So it was facing towards me, and this little space right here, it wouldn't fit, it wouldn't slide in. So I had to sit here. So there was so much unused space here. We couldn't get by because the fridge came out to like here. So it was kind of awkward, and you know, we just kind of dealt with it. But my wife had a genius idea of actually putting it on the foundation here. So right now it's just being held up with some Home Depot buckets underneath. There's two of them. There's one in the back there, but I'm gonna build a little platform. So it's up off the ground and it fits back in this corner. So that is awesome. You know, I'm trying to use every square inch of this space properly so I can get as much space as possible. So having that kind of tucked in the corner there is amazing. This little fridge, we're getting rid of it. We're gonna get one for inside the house, much smaller one, much nicer. This is much older. This is from college actually, so we're gonna get rid of that. So I thought that was a really cool update, and I'm really happy about it. I know it's such a small thing, but I'm pumped about it. It's gonna be much nicer with the little box I'm gonna build out and have it kind of up off the ground. We can store stuff underneath if we need to, so that's a plus in my book. But what we're actually gonna be doing is opening up the new cabinets. So if you guys saw my discussion on the whole cabinet array, I was going back and forth between finishing off the Husky array or going with a new setup by New Age. Now I went back and forth on the few different options, and at the end of the day, I was not budgeting or planning to buy new cabinets at this point. I was just gonna use already what I have, which is this right here. This is what I've been using for the past few years. It's worked out well. Then I got the idea of new cabinets in my head, and it was really hard to kind of get out of my head. So I was like, you know what? Let's do something. Let's kind of finish off the Husky array or do some New Age cabinets and get a nice kind of setup going on in here. Might as well do it. So let's go ahead and do it. So I talked about going with the New Age setup, a New Age Pro series. I was thinking about doing a tall standing cabinet, two 42-inch 7-drawer tool bases underneath and two up top with the TV in the middle. And then I was gonna get another tall cabinet for this corner over here. That was gonna be around $3,600 or so. And for not budgeting cabinets into the whole entire cost of all this, that was a lot of money to kind of be like, yeah, sure, why not? So what I ended up doing was going a different route. This is kind of what I've always wanted to do, to be honest, because I really do like the Husky stuff. And I never once thought in my 3 or 4 years of owning this stuff, I never thought, hey, this is not enough, this isn't good, I need something better. This has worked very, very well for me and just kind of what I use the garage for and cabinetry and everything. Yes, there are better and higher quality stuff, but at the end of the day, I just didn't find the value in it at this point in time. Maybe in the future we'll upgrade to some Sabre or do some Sonic MSS Plus or something crazy like that at some point. But for now, the Husky stuff is really nice, so I decided to go with that. This was a much cheaper option. This setup that I'm about to show you in this huge box was normally $1,800, but I got it on sale for $1,200 plus shipping and all that. It was around, I think, $1,400, so way less than the $3,600 or so that I was gonna spend on the New Age. And I get to finish off the Husky stuff, and I actually prefer the finish on the Husky over the New Age. The New Age had silver handles, whereas the Husky has all matte black, and it just looks really good. Now these two top upper cabinets, I'm going to be putting over there along with this cabinet. So there's gonna be like kind of a little array over in this corner. And then all the new stuff here that I'm gonna unbox and show you is gonna go over here. So let me go ahead, unbox everything, kind of show you all the details, and then we get to setting everything up and showing you how it looks. After opening this up, I just saw the tall cabinet and I was like, where is everything else? Sure enough, they got everything kind of stacked up in here. The really cool part about it was they actually said to look on the back. So on the instructions here, they say to open it up and actually remove the screws on the back. And I was like, huh, that's why they're screws. If you look on the back of the cabinet, you can see all these little holes here. They actually had these, and they actually were screwed into place, holding the cabinets in their respective spots on the respective shelves. So pretty cool. Other reviews, people were saying that the tall cabinet got dented and, you know, it came damaged, but mine is absolutely perfect, thankfully. So I'm happy about that. I was a little nervous, but everything looks perfect. There's no dents anywhere. And the finish is beautiful. Looks exactly like the other cabinets. So let's go ahead, let's unpack everything and get all the wrapping and kind of clean all this up, get it out of here so we have a little space to work. And yeah, so far so happy. All right, guys, so I got some things organized. I'm gonna get that outside in the garbage. But I just wanted to say real quick, whoever encouraged me to go with the Husky stuff, I must say, thank you. I am so surprised and shocked at the quality of this compared to the other cabinet. I mean, this cabinet is nice, but it doesn't have soft close, which is not a big thing, but these do, which is really, really nice. So I didn't have that on the other set. Really, really cool. And then over here, same thing, the drawer. It's got soft close. I mean, my toolbox has soft close, but not the cabinet. So I am actually overly impressed with how nice this is. I was expecting kind of the same quality as that, but 100% absolutely much nicer than the other one. And this cabinet is, I think, almost twice as big as that one. So I'm gonna be able to store oh, it's locked. Where's the keys? So I'm gonna be able to store so much more stuff in there. By the way, look how many keys I got. Why so many keys? It's the same lock every single time. But let me go ahead and show you the inside, which you guys probably already saw. But really, really spacious. I mean, look at the, it's kind of hard to show on camera, but absolutely massive. This is actually a drawer that pulls out, but you can move it down. This is just for shipping, but massive, massive. I mean, I'll be able to store all my microfibers and literally everything car related in this cabinet. This is gonna be for storage for my kids' sporting equipment and just like random sidewalk chalk and that kind of stuff. And that one's gonna go over in this corner. And then I'm gonna use the new array over here. But man, oh man, I am thoroughly impressed. And it really turned out really nice. And also it's got holes in the back so you can slip wires through or plugs and whatnot. Very, very cool. So one thing that I did notice, well, I did plan for this, as you can tell, the base cabinet is lower than my tool bench. Now, this does come with feet, so I'm gonna raise it up as much as I can. And then most likely I'm gonna get some metal risers to make it even. This is, I think 36 inches with the feet on it. That's 39. So I have 3 inches to make, so I'm gonna get some little risers for the feet to make it even with that. I'm actually even thinking about changing up the tops. I mean, these match, but I was thinking about getting a single tabletop to go straight across, and also extend it so it reaches back to the wall. So we will see, but for now, I'm just gonna get some risers and pop it up so it's nice and level with the workbench. But man, I'm really, really happy with this. So let me go ahead and get things shuffled around and kind of put it into its temporary place so I can at least get somewhat of an idea and kind of map things out. And then we can start, I don't wanna say installing, but permanently putting them in place for now, so we can really get this set up. So I'm gonna clean all this stuff out of the garage, get it out of here for now because it's bothering me and I feel cluttered. And I just want as much space to kind of work in here and get things sorted out. So let me go do that, and then I'll catch back up with you in a little bit once I get everything in place. All right, so for the past hour, I've been playing around with the different kind of arrays and kind of setups, and this is what I decided on. Now, this one, I had it over here, and there was one issue with it. This is it's not as wide as my toolbox. So the toolbox is about 24 inches wide, and then this one over here, around 21 inches. So it was 3 inches off. So it was offset about to here. And also it was much lower, which I was going to solve with adding casters or adding risers. But also this is about a 1/2 inch tabletop, and this is a 1/4 inch. So everything looked a little funky. And not to mention, this is kind of my own issue, but if you see the foundation, it bows out. So when I had the workbench all the way over to here, so it's basically like this sitting on the wall because I couldn't push it any more this way. I was like, you know what? I'm not sure if that little cabinet is gonna work over here. So worst case scenario is I can put kind of like a little bit of array here. So this is what I kind of decided on. I got the tall cabinet here. I'm probably gonna leave that here, and these are gonna go up on top there. If this doesn't work out where it's in the way with my wife's car in the passenger door, I may take that lower cabinet and put it on this corner where my pressure washer and stuff goes, and kind of have like a car wash station in a way. So I don't know, I'm gonna play with that one a little bit. I'm definitely gonna use it, obviously. I'll find some place in the garage to use it. So my main goal of extending the workspace was to put a cabinet, TV, then cabinet. But I think what I'm gonna end up doing is put a cabinet, so just like this, but up on the wall. And then I'm gonna put the TV on the side right here. And it makes kind of a lot of sense, because if you're in the middle of the garage, which we are right now, that's dead center, the TV. So no matter where you are in the garage, right in the center is right where you're gonna be viewing it. And that is honestly where it was prior, just much lower. So having it as a continuation with the cabinets, I think is gonna look the best. And then probably have my heater underneath just like I had it, the sub down there. So kind of be like a little entertainment center in a way. I mean, I could put the TV in the center, but this cabinet would be way over here and it would just look really awkward. So I think this is the way that I'm gonna set it up, with this little array over here and then my main array over here. Pretty much how I had it. Now, it is pushed over a little bit more than normal because this cabinet is so much wider than that one. That one's much skinnier. This is much wider. So it is more space on this side for sure. I definitely have way more storage in terms of my microfibers and all that stuff. So I definitely have plenty of space here. Not too worried about that at all. And also, I didn't know this came with it, but the upper cabinets came with an LED kit, an under cabinet LED kit. So as you can see, these have little magnets and they stick to it. And all you do is, let's see, I was kind of playing with them. You can link them together. So you just plug it in this little side right here. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Then you flip it on and you get a pretty decent light. So I'm gonna mount them up right under the cabinets. I was trying to think of ways to light the cabinets underneath. I didn't want to use this one, which was the Barina light that I normally used. So this is gonna be much cleaner, and I really like the magnetic aspect of it. So those are gonna be mounted up underneath. I still got another one as well. I can actually even link it through here and put it up into that cabinet as well, so they all turn on, which would be pretty cool. So I don't know, it comes with 3 of them. I thought that was pretty nice, and it's gonna give me some nice light on the workbench, which I definitely need all the time. So yeah, I think that is the setup, the array, and kind of the configuration I'm gonna go with. Can't wait to get this stuff out of here to kind of get a little bit better idea of how it's all gonna look. But this is a 20 by 20 with the door kind of over here. In an ideal world, I wish it was in the center, and then I could do some cabinet arrays over there, but you know, this is what we got to work with it. And I think the space is gonna look really nice with all this, since everything's matching finally. Obviously those Gladiator cabinets don't match, but they still look nice, and they're actually much taller than these, so we can fit a lot of things in there in terms of storage and all that. So yeah, so I'm actually gonna call it a night. I'm gonna clean up here because it took a while to unpack everything and kind of get all the things set. I got all the cabinets leveled and all that. And then I'm gonna jump back on it tomorrow. Hopefully get these cabinets mounted up, those mounted up. And then we can kind of take a final look and see how everything looks. But yeah, it's coming along, and I'm really, really liking it. All right, so I'm starting to install the upper cabinets. This is my method. This tabletop actually rises with this little lever here. So I just put it on a bucket to balance. You can use a box or whatever, and then just rise it up or raise it up to the level that you need. Now, to install these, they actually come with these brackets that you mount on the wall. They got a little level there. I don't know if I trust that, but I'll get a rear level out to make sure it's level. But you want to make sure, I got to see exactly how much further down this goes, you know, because you don't want to mount it all the way to the top, and I want it level with the side cabinet there. So once I get this one level, I'll be able to get the second bracket for the second cabinet up much easier. But you want to get this into studs as much as possible. So we'll do our best and see what we can do. Now I'm just going to mark things out and see if I can get it nice and level and perfect. But so far, looking pretty cool. I'm really liking that look. Really cool method. I did the same thing with those cabinets when I installed them. I just raised the tabletop, and it's much easier that way. So let me go ahead and kind of figure some things out, and then I'll jump back in and we'll install that one on this side together. All right, guys, we got the first one up. I will say it was a little nerve-wracking because the first one kind of sets the tone for the second one, or if you're doing 3, 4, 5. So the first one, you want to make sure it's perfectly level and that everything is going nice and smooth and it butts up really close to the wall and nice and flush. So I'm happy about that. I was a little nervous because I didn't want to put 1,000 holes in the wall. The nice part about it is that the brackets that you are using on the back, they do have some play so you can move back and forth to where you need it. So I'm gonna take this one off. I'm gonna show you exactly how I bolted it up, because you're only able to get into 2 studs. And then the third one, I ended up using some wall anchors that are up to 79 pounds. I use these things for everything, they're amazing. So it'll be good. Plus underneath, you bolt up to the studs here. So we'll do that as well once we get everything in place. But let me pop this one off and then I'll show you what the bracket looks like. And then we'll move on to this one. I'll show you a little bit more instruction on how to get it installed. Now, in order to figure out exactly where to mount this is what took the most time. It took a little bit of trial and error, because if you notice on the side over here, there's these little notches. Those notches are lining up with this. However, my cabinet, because I have the footing down there, the foundation is not against the wall. So I had to eyeball that and kind of line that up as best as I could. But if you can kind of see, I just eyeballed it and thankfully I got it perfect. I'll show you how level it is and flat on the top once we put it back up. But so this is what I ended up doing. At first, as you can see, I had the bolt there, also here, and I believe there as well. So I mounted it up and then I put the cabinet on. I was about an inch off of the tall cabinet. I was like, oh no, what do I do? And then I realized this has a lot of play. So I just loosened them a little bit, slid it all the way over, bolted it down, and it's slammed up against the tall cabinet here. So we are good. But as you can see, the level right there is nice and level, perfectly in the middle, and we're good to go. So let me go ahead, throw this back on, and I'll show you what it looks like on top just to confirm. Everything is nice and even and flat, and yeah, pretty easy. Now with those cabinets, the Gladiators that I had, I literally just screwed straight through the back of the cabinet into studs. This is a way easier design and kind of method to install them and have them hang, and it's obviously easier to remove as well. So let me go ahead and throw this one back on, and I'll show you the top and how flush it is, and then we'll move on to over here. As you can see, it's that easy. It literally went straight on. Now I just got to put the second one on, and then I'm going to bolt on the bottoms down there. It's kind of hard to show angles, but as you can see, it's flush up against the tall cabinet, and it's nice and flat and even on here. So we're good to go. I'm very, very happy with that. So now let's go ahead and get the second one installed. So I got the second bracket here, and same thing. This one's going to be a little bit easier. Since you can see the little tabs on the end, it's just gonna butt up to those tabs right there. And just gotta level it, find the studs. Thankfully, everything is 16 from center, 16 inches between each stud, so it's very easy to find. One of them, I'm gonna be using the wall anchor there for extra security, because obviously we're not going into a stud. These need to be way longer for that to happen. I also seen people do some fairing strips, so they put 2x4s going across the entire wall, so they can just bolt straight into that. But I want it much cleaner, and if I did that, the cabinets would be off the wall. Don't want that. So we're gonna go ahead and get the second one mounted up and see how it looks. All right, so we got both cabinets up, nice and level, perfect. Everything is nice and even. I'm just lowering down my toolbox here. And what I'm actually doing on this side is I'm gonna put the TV right next to it. So it's gonna block that little bit of bracket there, because that's literally going to be in the center of the garage. And yeah, I'm really liking how this turned out. This looks really, really good. I gotta do some touch up on the wall and stuff over here after all that, but whew, the nerve-wracking part is over, and I'm glad that's up and done. Oh, I gotta bolt these up. Forgot about that. Let's do that first. So these are nice and secure in there. I'm just gonna do the same method where I'm just going to line up where the studs were and just use the lag bolts, because I don't think it needs the anchor bolts, because it's I put a couple on it each, and I think we're good. This, you know, these only hold like, I don't know, 20 pounds at most, so it's really not that detrimental. It's not gonna be holding like 100, 200 pounds. But yeah, let me go ahead and get these bolted up to the wall underneath, and then we can move on to the little LEDs and get some light here. And then we can hopefully get the TV up. I wanna get that up too. All right, so got everything bolted up underneath. What I actually ended up doing was using those big black washers that came with the tall cabinet that everything was screwed on the back of, and I ended up using them as some extra kind of leverage on the bolts. But I just ended up doing 2 on the bottom, 2 in the bottom there, 16 inches apart, and we are good, and it's looking amazing. So obviously I gotta take those stickers off. I was a little nervous about that. I was kind of sweating about it, but everything turned out beautiful. And now I just gotta do some touch-ups, clean up. I do wanna get the TV on though, so we'll see. I still have to mount these cabinets up. Probably gotta do that tomorrow. I also got to mount on my vacuum over here, my pressure washer set up, and my quick jack. So there's quite a few things going on the wall. Nerve-wracking for sure. For the quick jacks, I actually have two 2x6s between those 2 studs. I blocked them out before we put the sheetrock on. Also over here, I have between each outlet is 2x6, so this whole entire area here is squared out with block, so we're good there. This, I just bolt into one of the studs. It's right in the middle, I remember, and we should be good. This is gonna take a little trial and error finding the studs here, since I've never seen them before, since this was already sheetrocked prior to getting all the work done. But we'll find it, we'll get it done, and get that knocked out. But super thrilled with that. What I wanna do now is just throw in the little lights, just to give a little bit of a kind of some extra light, because right now it's not so great because I don't have my lights in yet. Also, quick note, I changed this bulb out. So I ended up picking some up from Lowe's while I was there getting some supplies. So these are the ones I got. They are daytime, or daylight I should say, LED by GE. Nothing crazy, I just wanted to get some bulbs to match in there because I hated the yellow. It just looked kind of off and ugly, especially when I have all the lights in here and everything. It's gonna look amazing. So kind of hard to show, but that is the new bulb. Looks so much better with the lights and everything on the door. So let me go ahead and swap that out, and I'll show you the difference. And it doesn't really do much, but I figured at least match the 5K that we're gonna have in here. All right, so minor change, but honestly makes a big difference in terms of the look. I mean, the lights here, it's kind of hard to show with the little covers on, but matches perfectly. I'm happy with that. It looks much better with the black in here, and yeah, so it doesn't really provide much more light or anything. The ones that I had in there are right here. These are soft white. This is what I use in my house. They tend to be okay. I don't really like the bright white lights inside a house. It's too sterile, too hospital-like, but in the garage, I think it's okay because it matches everything else. But all right, let me throw the little LEDs in for the cabinets so we can see what they look like. Just plug them in. I'm gonna wire it up nicely. I got some wire hider and stuff, so it's gonna look good, but I'm just gonna throw them in for now. Just, I'm curious to see what they look like. And then maybe we can move on to the TV. I wanna get that kind of sorted. So pretty cool, I'm happy with that. As you can see, I just got them in the front. Obviously you can position wherever you want, but I want most of the light this way. If I put them too far back, it only lit up, well, it lit up the whole thing, but more light was in the back, whereas I want more in the front. I normally, or what I used to have, was this giant Barina light under here. So let me turn this off. And this is what I used to have underneath my cabinets, which is pretty bright, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of had it like that. But there's no like clear way to put it. As you can see, it's just super long. I had it against the back of the cabinet there, which I don't know. It looks good. But I like the cleanliness of this one. So all I do is just, I put the switch here. I'm gonna, again, hide all that wire, not gonna see it. I mean, it looks good. Let's take a little step back. It's a little yellow in comparison, obviously. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, again, it came with 3 of them. So I actually might be able to, maybe I can link one through this hole here and have it in the cabinet. That'd be pretty cool. And it would block, the shelves would block it, but maybe have it up front here somehow. I don't think the wire's long enough to be able to do that though. I wish they had longer wires. That'd be cool. I just have it like right up here and then just have it turn on at all times. You know, when those lights are on, that'd be pretty cool. So I obviously have a third one. I don't have a long enough cord to get it into the cabinet here. I may try to see if I can find a longer wire. But in the meantime, I just threw a second one up here and there's a decent amount of light, especially on, you know, you can see the difference between this and this, maybe not on camera. So I'm gonna see if I can grab another one of these and just loop it through and have double lights there. I think that'd be much better overall. I mean, let's see if we can unplug it just to see the difference. Let's check out the cabinet. I'm gonna take this one off. Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously we're adding extra light, so there's gonna be more. but not a bad idea. Kind of lights up things a little bit better. So if we take a step back, you can see that this side is definitely better lit. So I'm gonna see if I can try to snag another one. They probably make me buy 3, which honestly may not be a bad idea. Just put a bunch under here. But yeah, all right, let's see if I can do that. I'll look into it and I'll report back if I can get them. Alright guys, so we got the tiny 32-inch Samsung mounted up. I was going to put it up against the actual cabinets, but for aesthetic standpoint, between the door and the cabinets, it looked much better here. Whereas if I had it against the cabinets, it looked kind of off center. So, I mean, this whole thing, as you can see, it's pretty much lined up with the attic, and I just think it looks better kind of offset like that. Plus I'm going to have my heater underneath and the sub here. So it's got to tie in really nicely. I know it's a small TV. I've had this thing for like 20 years, probably longer than that, and it's still holding up. And it's LED, so it's great for really bright spaces. It doesn't create glare or anything like that. So, you know, it works, and it hasn't crapped out on me yet, so I just continue to use it. Maybe one day we'll upgrade to something a little bit larger, but for now, I think this works just fine. So, yeah, it's nice and even with the cabinets and everything. It looks good. I'm happy with it. So, obviously the cables and stuff, I got wire hider, so I'm gonna bring it over here and bring it down into probably the cabinet power surge or surge protector over there. I don't know. This is just kind of loosely, I just threw some things in just for now, but it'll all be managed and looking really clean. I gotta wipe this thing down. So yeah, I'm happy I got that mounted up. Tomorrow, I'm going to mount up these cabinets on this wall and see what I can do with these and get that set up. We'll get the vacuum, pressure washer, and all that, and then the quick jacks mounted up as well. But we're getting there. It's looking amazing. I absolutely love it. I love. I decided to go with the Husky. It works really well with all the black and gray. But all right, I'm gonna call it a night here, and I'll catch back up with you guys tomorrow. All right guys, so I've been working on the side cabinets over here. I got the first one up, and I'm gonna put the second one up now. All I'm doing is just leveling it off, put them right next to each other, and continuing on with this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that one up, and then I'll show you the completed look. So we got the cabinets all mounted up. Everything is looking good and fresh. And I also have been playing around with a few things. So first and foremost, I got the wire hider all done. So this is the internet cable coming out of the ceiling. I was going to run it through the wall, but the actual frame of the house is right there where I'd be able to pull that through. It was gonna be way too much work, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just use the wire hider. If I decide to change it up one day, I certainly can, but I think that looks pretty decent, much better than the hanging wire that was there before. I may get a little box or something to box this out so it looks a little cleaner. That's just a little patch right there. But I think it looks much better overall. It's tucked on the seam of the drywall there. I may end up painting it. This is paintable, so it'll blend in even more, but I think it looks much better than the ugly wire hanging down there. Also, I got wire hider on the ceiling for the garage sensor, the sensors. So that looks much better than the ugly hanging white wire. So happy with that. So if you notice, that cabinet that I had here isn't there. I'm playing around with the position of it over here. Now, obviously you can tell it's much lower. When I first got the whole entire set, that was my initial thought. I was like, you know, it's too low. It's not as wide as my toolbox. So as you can see, it's about 2 or 3 inches short. And I actually had it on the other side of the tool chest over here, and then the toolbox over here. The main issue, as I kind of talked about earlier, was the foundation kind of bumps out. You can see it there. When I was working here and everything, I moved the cabinet over here, and I was like, huh, that kind of lines up nicely here. You know, it's all nice and even. And I was like, maybe if I just get some risers, this is 4 inches difference. So maybe I get some 4-inch risers, rise that up, and just have an extended table over there. And I think I might keep it like that, because I think the array looks really nice, but now I'm in the predicament of what I'm gonna do with the TV. So there's a couple options that I think I can do. I can either take the TV and butt it up against the cabinet, so it's kind of, you know, cuts off here, and I got all the cabinet array there. Or I do more work and I take that cabinet off, put the TV there, then put the other cabinet on this side. So it's cabinet, TV, cabinet. I think that's what I should do, but it does require quite a bit more work. Obviously, taking out all the bolts and everything that I put in, patching them and everything, and moving everything down. I don't know. I think what I'm gonna initially do is get the risers for this, bump it up, see if I like the flow of it, see, you know, if it works with the garage, with my wife's car in here and everything, just get a better idea. And then we can go from there. If, you know, I really do like it there, then I can rearrange some things. But I think it does look nice overall. I mean, it's a much larger workspace. Even with it a little bit lower, isn't bad at all. I'm not sure what I would make this whole thing, but it's a nice cabinet and I definitely want to put it to good use. I was even thinking about using this whole thing as like a bolts bin or a bolts drawer with all different bolts and nuts and everything, because I'm always looking for you know, random things to use when I'm working on the car. So I got just random stuff and all in here. It's kind of a mess in that drawer. That's kind of the messiest drawer of the entire toolbox, but I may get some nice organizers and, you know, organize everything out. So let me know what your thoughts about that cabinet there. Again, I can always bring it back here, or I may put it somewhere else in the garage. I don't know. There's only a few places that I think would work, and this is one of them. So I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool. But also, I didn't do this on film because I got a little bit ahead of myself. I really wanted to get this mounted up, but I got my pressure washer all situated. So I have had this pressure washer on my wall in this same exact spot before I redid the garage for a little over a year now, about a year and a half, and I absolutely love this setup. So what I wanted to do is just get it mounted up so I can start washing cars again, because my car is absolutely filthy. I got sheetrock dust all over it. I've been driving it a lot, and it just really needs a wash. So I really wanted to get this up and mounted and ready to go so I can wash cars, get my truck clean, get my wife's car clean. I haven't been able to wash a car in quite some time, especially with the winter and it being cold. So now that I got it mounted up, I am incredibly thrilled with the overall look, with the new sheetrock and everything there, and the Harbor Gray. It just looks so good. And also, the way I mount up my pressure washer wand is that I have a bolt going through the shelf over here, and I just hang it on there. So it's not touching the wall, and then it just hangs on the handle here, so it's off the wall. And it just works really well for me. I got my new outlet up there. All I gotta do is plug in the hose, the water, which is right outside the garage door right here. So I have a quick connect right here. It just clips right in, turn it on, and I'm good to go. And it just turned out really nice. I mean, it's such a cool setup. If you guys are interested in a very nice wall mount solution like this, highly recommend this one. I've been so pleased with it. And it can really throw down some foam, and it really puts out some decent amount of water for you know, the price of this, considering the Krenzla is much more expensive. I think this is a great alternative. For the price of this, I don't think you can beat it. Obviously, you can step up all the way to the nice Krenzla setup, but you know, if you're on a budget like myself, I honestly think this cannot be beat for the price. Also, I wanted to mention, I just have the wire for the pressure washer all bundled up behind there. I am gonna end up shortening that so there's not all that mess there, and just leave that plugged in, but for now, I just threw it up there. I know some people were gonna say put it on this wall so it's a little bit more, I guess you can see it better, but I really like it in this corner, because if I had it on this wall, it'd bump out to here and it would kind of get in the way, you know, me getting around the car and everything, the, you know, the pressure washer hose will be bumped out this way, and it'll just be a little bit awkward. So this is nice tucked up in the corner, and it works really well. I have the handle to roll up the reel on this side. Usually it goes on this side. I just flipped it around. Cox hose reel and this whole setup just works great. I was thinking about getting the CR spotless set up here, but I was like, you know, my water's pretty good. I've been washing cars for many, many years here, and I haven't had any issues with water spotting. Plus I wash in the garage, so it's not that big of a deal. Maybe one day we'll get the portable one or something, or we'll pipe in some water or something, but I didn't find it necessary at this point, and I've been really happy with this setup. So decided to throw that up there. I was gonna do a video on it, but I just got kind of ahead of myself, and I was just working, and yeah, it just turned out amazing. So also, I'm not sure if I mentioned, I picked up some new under cabinet lighting, something a little bit better than this. I believe this is rated at 3500. They say 4K, but I don't think it's 4K. It's a little yellow. I mean, you can see in comparison, this is 5K, and then this is a little bit more yellow. This is nice, but for a garage, I like a 5K. Especially with these lights, it's just kind of everything flows better. So I picked up some nicer under cabinet lighting, 5K. I actually got 6 of them, so it's gonna be nice and bright. And then I can reuse these lights inside this cabinet, so I can just switch them on and have some light in there. So I'll update you guys once that comes in, but here we go. Cabinets are up for the most part until we change it up. But I'm just really, really thrilled how everything turned out. Really clean. We got some nice storage over here, and it's gonna really, really help out keeping things organized, keeping things away. We're not gonna have those giant shelves, if you remember, all up here that were an absolute mess. I had shelves here, I had them in that little nook over there, all here, hated it. So I am so thrilled that I decided to take them down, patch up that whole wall, and do this setup because it really just looks way better, way more organized. All right, guys, so it's actually been a few days. I have gotten quite a few things done. I'm gonna update you guys soon on all this and a lot of that as well. But I wanted to wrap the video up with the cabinets. Now, I'm super happy with how everything turned out. Got a bunch of storage over here. Again, that refrigerator is getting out of here. But I threw up one of my Barina lights because I already had the brackets on there from when I was previously using those cabinets over here. So I just threw that on there just for extra light. But turned out beautiful. It works very, very well for us. A bunch of extra storage for just kids stuff and just random things that we want to store away but need access to. And then also, if we come over here, I actually finished up the cabinets. Now I still have some adjustments to do, but overall the cabinet design, I believe this is where I'm going to stay. I ended up getting some 4-inch risers underneath there. Now, not the prettiest looking thing, but they do the job. They're rated up to like 7,000 pounds, something crazy. And it makes it perfectly level with my toolbox. So I got an extra, what is this, 28 inches or so of workspace, which is great. Obviously the difference or the only issue is that it's a little bit shorter. But what I think I'm actually gonna do to kind of make up for that space is, obviously I'm gonna move the heater since it's too low now. I'm probably gonna move it over here so it kind of fills in that gap. And then with the TV, I think I'm just gonna go get a 55-inch TV and fill this whole space out. Now I was considering moving the cabinet over, putting the TV in the middle, but when it comes down to it, I think it just works better this way. I actually prefer the TV over here because it's literally in the center of the garage. So having it over here, it would be a little bit awkward to view, especially if I get a 55-inch, it would be a little bit more awkward, I guess, with the smaller cabinets and the larger TV. And I don't know, I think it just looks better here and it works better in my favor. I thought a lot about this because I can leave the bracket where it is for the TV mount, but the larger TV, the 55-inch, is gonna take up a lot of that space. So it's gonna look much more full, much better. Obviously the cable and all that stuff, that's temporary. That is going to be gone, hidden away. You're not going to see that. I don't want to do anything permanent as of now because I was thinking about upgrading the TV and changing it over. So we're probably going to do that. But overall, the cabinet design and everything, I'm so thrilled with it. It really turned out pretty darn awesome. Now, something that I put a lot of time into and I was kind of hoping it would work, and that is actually in-cabinet lighting. So if we open it up, I got cabinet lighting inside all of my cabinets. So one thing I was talking about was, this is kind of just temporary, everything in here. It's somewhat organized, but I'll probably end up changing around. I also got some new under cabinet lighting as well, which we'll go over probably in a different video. But the original lights that came with the cabinets, I ended up reusing them in here. So I got some pretty awesome cabinet lighting in here. Again, this is not perfectly organized. I just got my microfibers up there. Down here, it gets a little messy because I was just throwing things in for now. But pretty darn awesome. I'm pretty proud of that. And the cool thing is, if we come over here, I got all the switches here. So this is for the under cabinet right there. Then this one, is for this cabinet. Can't really see, but that one. So if you turn that on, and then there's one right here as well for that light. So I got all access to all the lights right there. So I just got to reach over. Everything's nice and hidden. And I spent a lot of time kind of managing the wires, so you can't even really see them. I kind of tucked everything away. You can see a little bit there. But there's actually some really nice holes going through each cabinet on either side. They actually inform you to screw them together when you have all the cabinets, but I ended up using them as wire pass-throughs, and it worked out really well. You can kind of see it right there, but everything is hidden really nicely, and I'm really proud of that. I think it looks really cool, and not to mention it's super practical, so I can actually see everything in my cabinet as opposed to opening it up and not knowing what's all the way behind there. So I thought that was a really cool idea. Now, again, I use the same lights underneath. These are all 5K, so it matches all the lighting in my garage that I will be using, including the lights up there. I still got to do this row, but again, that's a whole separate video. Also, real quick, I just did this today. This is my Bissell Garage Pro vacuum. I've had this for about 2 years now. It's worked very well. Got it mounted up on this wall, so I got the vacuum over here, pressure washer over there. Again, it just works well for me. And I was thinking about going with the Obsessed Garage one, but I already had this one, so I throw it up there. I'll use it for now, and maybe I'll upgrade to the Obsessed Garage one eventually. But works well, looks good, and gets the job done. But I'm gonna wrap the video up here. I know it was a little long, but I wanted to go into detail about this because I know a lot of people are interested in these cabinets, including myself. You know, I've always wanted this array for quite some time, and having it finally with my dream garage and having everything in here and getting it kind of up to spec, it's been a dream come true. So I'm super thrilled with it, and it's really turning out to be an amazing space. So, but that's gonna do it for this one, guys. If you have any questions at all about the cabinets or anything else in the garage or the M3, please let me know in the comments below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple. I'll catch you guys in the next one.